what I was getting into with Rebirth. While I did like Remake, I can't say I loved it. Combat was its strongest trait, but when it came to the game's narrative and side quests, it was just hard to justify its episodic format. Square Enix assured everyone that splitting the game into 3 titles was necessary in its revitalization. Wow, I might have just discovered the 3rd game's title. But after playing Remake, I walked away from my experience a little tired. I think what made Midgar stand out to me in the original was the fact that it was only the prologue of the game. Fighting Rufus in the original felt like the climax of the story, realizing the journey has just begun. After an introduction that felt like an entire movie in itself. A New Hope, but with lightsabers that are as big as the human body and spikier hair. Then getting the sequel immediately after was an incredible feeling. In Remake, when you realize this is the end of the game, well, that was kind of a bummer. Nevertheless, I was excited to see how the scope of 7 would broaden in Rebirth. A truly open world, refined combat, and perhaps a tighter narrative that deviates from the original. 7 chapters and 30 hours in, and I feel like I've only gotten 1/3 of these things. The game begins with a pretty messy start. We're put into the shoes of Zack Fair, who is now coexisting in the same timeline as the ending of Final Fantasy VII Remake, but alternate from our gang in Rebirth? I don't know. In typical Nomura fashion, I'm sure this will be explained later and still not make a lick of sense to me. Anyways, after that we get the Nibelheim sequence, which I liked a lot. The village looks great, super detailed, and it's awesome seeing Cloud's mom with a few more polygons.
Hey, little mama.
And Sephiroth's origin is done pretty well. I like how we got a neat little mini-boss with Cloud and Sephiroth getting to team up. A nice piece of fan service I didn't mind, though playing as Sephiroth felt all too brief. I like that he actually feels like a thought-out playable character. The game introduces terrain action, which is code for PS2 level movement. Cloud can now awkwardly jump off or over things, or slowly climb up ledges, pausing for a moment of brief reflection in between every ledge he grabs. Then we get to slowly move a big vacuum to suck up Mako. As expected with the sequel, bigger and better ways to waste my time. Watching Sephiroth spiral into a horrifying existential crisis is just as compelling as it was in the original, and he still gives me the creeps in his biggest scene. After that, we're finally put into the present of the Regang's timeline, yeah, that's what I'm calling them now, and get to explore the town of Calm, and my god is it beautiful. There's a true feeling of calm here. Bustling with people, incredibly detailed streets and pathways. It just feels quaint in all the right ways. One thing I felt was remiss in Remake was the lack of funny NPCs, but most of the chatter coming from civs in Remake just felt abysmal. In Rebirth, I already felt a stronger connection with Calm's locals, dueling each of its wonderfully unique inhabitants in Queensblade like Crying Ned, the Moore twins, or Box Lover Zahira. Their interactions stood out to me and were a big reason why I felt compelled to continue seeking out opponents in Queensblade, and losing 10 times in a row because my squirrel brain is incapable of learning a card game. We also get introduced to a new system where you can talk with your party members, and by picking the correct time response will increase your friendship gauge with them. I'm not sure why these responses have a time limit of about 1/10 of a second. I feel like I'm playing a f***ing Telltale game here. Why are we doing this? Barrett asks me what I had for lunch today, and the game is treating it like it's life or death. What's even the point of having these? Also doesn't seem to matter much when Cloud is still an asshole to his companions in the cutscenes anyway. So we have a couple moments with the characters, then the gang goes to bed fully clothed with their f***ing shoes on. God damn, this drives me crazy. It's not gonna be next gen until characters get out of their clothes before bed. And then we sneak our way out of Calm, and this is where the journey begins. Into a brave new world. And within 10 minutes, I'm burnt out. I immediately tuned out Chadley, who I wish was erased from existence when we altered fate in Remake.
You do remember me, don't you?
And rolled my eyes, activating my first tower. The game doesn't even try for a fraction of a second to make the world interesting. It just feels like they're saying, yeah, you know how this shit goes. Now go f around for a while and we'll get back to you. 9 times out of 10, even Rebirth's biggest fans will tell you not to pursue all of the open world content because it's tedious and dull. Just do the main quest. And this makes my brain short circuit. The biggest selling point to me of Rebirth was the fact that the game was embracing an open world. Gone were the incredibly narrow corridors of Midgar. Now there's a sense of freedom and a large scope for our band of 2 dudes, 3 women, and 2 creatures to embark upon. Plenty to do, an exciting world filled with possibilities, until you realize it's not. Sure, there's some cool quests here and there, but a big chunk of them are your usual open world fodder. The minigames are neat, but the amount I actually want to replay are pretty slim. Actually navigating the overworld is an absolute drag, whether it's slowly climbing up walls on foot or slowly climbing up walls on chocobos, mindlessly tapping triangle to pick up herbs of the gods or something, which I can convert into to items. I don't know if I'm the only one who does this, but I don't even like to use the items, because I know the game is just going to bar me from using them on the hard mode. Also, it just feels more engaging to rely on your materia rather than the items. It feels like playing Smash Bros with items on. After frolicking about for a while, finally get to the swamp, and we're supposed to navigate through it with our chocobo so we don't rile up the Midgar lurking in its waters, and then it just wakes up anyways. I loved this moment in the original, because by the time we get to it, the thing is just mutilated, shish kebab at the end of a giant tree. It's a haunting scene as the gang looks up in horror, dark clouds and lightning flashing through the sky. An ominous track plays in the background. It's a testament to just how large the gap between the gang and Sephiroth is. They've got a long way to go. His presence is still felt by this horrifying monument he has left for them. And the most eerie part is that we never find out how he got the Midgar onto the tree. From what I remember in the original, this is never explained, and to me it's a mystery best left unexplored. Sephiroth is more powerful than we may ever know, and in some ways can comprehend. Well, in Rebirth, that's all gone. The gang fights the Midgar and actually holds their own for the most part, and beats the scales off of it until it pulls a desperation move and pulls Cloud underwater. And then Seph shows up to save him. He uses some evil little magic to teleport the thing above the tree. There you go, that's how he did it. And then he leaves again. Okay. Everyone and their mothers has talked about Sephiroth's unnecessary inclusions into the Re series, so I'm not going to spend too much time dwelling on it. Feels like all the cool mystique surrounding the character is being slowly squeezed out with every passing scene. Finally, we follow the hooded fellas to Junon and get to see Cloud team up with a dolphin, so that was good. Then that motorcycle dude shows up again. Then Yuffie, again, but still doesn't join our party. Then we do the Shinra soldier dance thing, which is pretty great. They sure know how to do the musical numbers. After we go on a cruise and get to play more Queen's Blade. Look, it's a cool minigame and all, but I'm kind of getting tired of this shit. But I do it anyways because it's got some funny scenes. However, it takes me forever because I'm getting my ass handed to me repeatedly. But finally, after tactfully randomly placing cards on the board, I am crowned the winner and move on. But then, oh no, we're attacked by Hojo's experiments. Let's do absolutely nothing as they consume the hooded dudes we're supposed to be following and protecting, and then kill them. Oh, there's Sephiroth again. Hey, buddy. And then we land at Costa del Sol, where we get to play more minigames. And after about 2 hours of that, you get a few side quests where you play the same minigames over again on a date. Bring scooters back to their proper places. Help Johnny gather materials. Jesus Christ, is this it? Is this the whole game? 30 hours in, and it feels like at every point, the game is emphasizing its weakest aspects. The format is, let's follow the hooded guys. Oh, we're in a cool new place filled with diversions. About 5 times over. How does the narrative have even less direction than Remake? Look, I get it. This is basically Final Fantasy Infinite Wealth. Rebirth is the gang's vacation. The main quests are the side quests. I didn't go in with an unrealistic expectation of what this would be. The game is pleasant and nothing has left a truly bad taste in my mouth. But I am exactly halfway through the game and there has just been nothing that has truly wowed me to any extent. But that just feels like the tone of the whole game. This isn't the next big step of the hero's journey. It's the pit stop. And even if I kind of knew that, it still bums me out. Look, I'm still gonna finish it. I love Final Fantasy VII and its world too much. I even watch Advent Children for Christ's sake.